Hello, good morning. My name is Nur Fitri Atira Ahmadis Naini. My student ID is 1043@3844. So today I'm going to present for Bus10012 Innovative Business Practice regarding the social problem presentation with the topic of poverty. I am now 26 years old and originally was born in Kuching, Sarawak. I am currently taking Bachelor of Business Human Resource Management for 2 years in Swinburne University, Sarawak, and I am now still in my second semester for first year. Why Swinburne? Reputation for excellence as for what I have researched, Swinburne University is well known for providing excellent instruction in a wide range of subject areas. Its courses are meant to give students the information, abilities, and exposure they need to succeed in the career they have been chosen. Ambitious students looking for a top-notch education are drawn to Swinburne because of its stellar reputation in the fields of business, engineering, design, and science. Second is the global perspective. Swinburne provides an educational experience that is culturally stimulating due to its diverse student body and dedication to cultivating global viewpoints. By working together with classmates from around the globe, students can learn about the diverse cultures, viewpoints, and modes of thought. Students can also participate in international study abroad experiences thanks to Swinburne's worldwide alliances and exchange programs, which helps them widen their perspective and build stronger international networks. So for my strength is I have two strengths. First is adaptability and the second is problem solving. For example, for the adaptability, when engaging with course mates from different nationalities or with varying levels of expertise, I adjust the complexity and tone of my responses to ensure clarity and accessibility. This adaptability fosters effective communication and enhance user satisfaction as individuals feel understood and catered to based on their unique preferences. While for the problem solving, hypothetical users working in a group assignment or a collaborative project may utilize my platform to communicate, share ideas, and coordinate tasks in real time. So for the topic that I have chosen is poverty. The introduction of poverty is a complicated socio-economic problem. Poverty affects millions of people worldwide. It is characterized by limited access to basic needs such as employment, shelter, food, medical care, and education. It causes because institutional injustice, economic instability, and social inequality. It calls for all-encompassing policies with social, economic, and political components. Personal strength to combat poverty. My motivation is to fight poverty comes from my core conviction that each and every person is valuable and deserving of respect. Nobody should be denied the chance to reach their full potential or the fundamental necessities of life because of the events beyond their control. Not only is combating poverty morally required, but it is also necessary to create a more inclusive, fair, and just society in which everyone has the chance to prosper. Impacts on family and community. For family struggles, as a child, I personally experienced the financial problem difficulties my family encountered as a result of economic downturn. My parents struggled to make and meets while working several jobs, such as they frequently had to put rent and grocery ahead of other necessities. For community inequities, I have witnessed firsthand how poverty appears in my neighborhood in a number of ways, from cramped, rundown homes to restricted access to high-quality healthcare and education. Systemic inequality has prevented many of my neighbors and acquaintances from achieving social inclusion and economic mobility. For United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, it has four SDG: SDG 1, 3, 4, and 10. SDG 1 is no poverty, SDG 3 is good health and well-being, SDG 4 is quality education, while SDG 10 is decrease inequalities. Relevant strengths that I have been researched is I have four. First is understanding diverse perspective, that is, being flexible enables one to take into account different perspectives on poverty. Second is tailoring solution, that is, people with flexibility are able to design unique solution for particular requirements. Third is navigating complex system, that is, people that are adaptable are aware of the ways in which several systems work together to maintain poverty. Fourth is building bridges, flexibility encourage cooperation amongst various stakeholders. So next, there are ways for government and society can initiate and make an efforts for this problem. For government efforts, social welfare programs offer housing subsidies, food aid, and cash transfers. The goal of investing in education and skills development is to increase economic opportunity. It measures like raising the minimum wage and enacting tax reforms encourage inclusive economic growth. For society efforts, civil society organizations offer direct assistance, advocacy, and empowerment programs. Social movements raise awareness and mobilize public support for policy reforms. So I have four roles of creativity. First is artistic expression and advocacy. Artistic expression and storytelling employ creativity as a means to advocate for social change and to increase public awareness of journey of the poverty. Second is innovative solution. Innovative strategy to fight poverty have been developed as a result of creativity. Examples of these strategies include social enterprises, microfinance projects, and community-based participatory programs. Third is community empowerment and capacity building. Initiatives aim at empowering the community and enhance its capacity to actively involve its citizens in problem solving and decision making depend heavily on creativity. And the last one is policy innovation and advocacy campaigns. In order to address systemic reforms that address the core causes of poverty, such as economic inequality, discrimination, and lack of access to essential services, creativity is important in advocacy campaigns and policy innovation. For the design thinking that I have been researched, first, the definition of design thinking is a human-centered method of a problem solving that places an emphasis on creativity, empathy, and iterative prototyping in order to produce original answers to difficult problems. The key principles are: it places a strong emphasis on comprehending user demands, coming up with a variety of concepts, prototyping solutions, and testing them in actual settings in order to improve and perfect designs. There are two stages of design thinking. For the first stage is empathize, including understanding user needs and collecting insights. And the second stage is define. It includes problem framing and identifying opportunities. Next is for approaching a problem solving. For the first one is human-centered approach. By understanding the needs and the realities of those impacted by poverty is giving a priority in design thinking. The solutions that prioritize the human perspective are more likely to be applicable and significant. Second is encourage divergent thinking. Design thinking encourages the investigation of various alternatives, which promotes a creative culture. It pushes people to think creatively and explore unusual strategies for combating poverty. Third one is iterative process. Design thinking facilitates ongoing improvement by having solutions prototyped and tested in real-world settings. The utilization of an iterative strategy guarantees that solutions develop with time, becoming more efficacious in response to feedback and insight. So next is promotes collaboration. Design thinking facilitates the collaborative resolution of difficult social problems by bringing together a range of viewpoints and expertise. Individuals can use their special talents and perspective to create comprehensive solution to poverty by collaborating in teams. Last one is focuses on action and impacts. Design thinking places a strong emphasis on implementing concrete solutions to problems and evaluating the results of initiative. Actionable outcomes allow for the tracking of progress and the ability to make necessary modification to achieve significant results. Next is how design thinking can personally benefit me. I have 5 reasons how, such as enhance problem solving skills, and it affects my collaboration and iterative collaboration, and it makes my creativity and innovation thinking skills increasing, and my empathy and understanding on people's needs and experience are also increasing. Through my research, I have individuals that impacted by the problem of poverty, such as Mrs. Suzanne is a single mother with 2 children. For the journey map of Mrs. Suzanne is in the morning, Suzanne wakes up in her small apartment in a low-income neighborhood. She feels anxious about the day ahead by knowing she needs to stretch her limited resources to cover basic expenses. And 6:30 a.m. after getting ready, Susan walks to the bus stop and worrying about whether she will have enough money for bus fare and groceries. And 7 o'clock in the morning, Susan arrives at her minimum wage job as a cashier at a local supermarket. She works long hours but struggles to make ends meet due to low wages and rising living costs. In the afternoon, at 12 o'clock, during her lunch break, Susan eats a simple meal she packed from home. She reflects in her financial situation, feeling frustrated by the lack of opportunities for advancement despite her hard work. At 1 o'clock, back at work, Susan deals with impatient customers and the stress of managing her workload. She dreams of pursuing further education or training to improve her prospect by worries about the cost and feasibility. And in the evening, at 5 p.m., after her shift ends, Susan heads to the local food bank to pick up groceries for the week. She feels a mix of gratitude for the assistance and shame for needing help to feed her family. And 7 o'clock at night, back home, Susan helps her children with their homework and prepares a simple dinner, but still she worries about providing a stable and supportive environment for them despite the challenges they face. And 9 o'clock at night, exhausted from the day's work and worries, Susan finally goes to bed, knowing that tomorrow will bring another day of struggles and uncertainties. So this is the user profile map. It consists of gains and pains. For the gains, Susan seeks stability and security for herself and her family, aspiring to provide a better future for her children. Susan also desires opportunities for further education and training to improve her prospect for career advancement and financial stability. Third is Susan values support from community resources like food banks, finding comfort and relief in knowing that she can access assistance when needed. Susan yearns for empowerment and dignity, wishing to overcome the stigma and barriers associated with poverty and achieve a sense of self-worth and agency. For the pens, Susan experiences constant worries about financial and leads to stress and anxiety. Despite her hard work, Susan feels trapped in a circle of low-wage employment with a few opportunities for advancement, causing frustration and disillusionment. Susan grapples with feelings of shame and inadequacy due to her reliance on support services like food banks, impacting her self-esteem and mental well-being. Susan struggles to balance her job with her responsibility as a parent, feeling overwhelmed by competing demands on her time and energy. I have another two personas that I have been researched. The first one is John Era. He is 49 years old. His occupation is small business owner, and the background is entrepreneur focused on maximizing profits and minimizing the cost to stay competitive. His goal is increasing the profit of his business, expanding his business market share, achieving the business success. His frustration is pressure to constantly maximize profit and minimize costs, stress facing ethical dilemmas as he must balance the financial viability of his business, lack of consideration for workers' livelihoods in discussion of cost-cutting measures. What does John see? He sees job opportunities in his community but overlooks the impact of his business decision on workers' wages. What does he hear? John hears discussion about maximizing profits and minimizing labor costs without considering the implication for workers' livelihood. What does he say and do? John expresses concern about the bottom line and prioritize financial gains over fair wages for their employees. What does he think and feel? John thinks that about increasing profit for his business and feels pressure to cut costs even if it means paying workers less. For the last persona is Sarah John. She is 29 years old. The occupation of her is social activities and community organizer. The background is passionate advocate for social justice and equity. Her goal is to create systemic change, promote social justice, and empower individuals and community affected by poverty. Her frustration is systemic barriers that hinder progress towards addressing poverty and promoting social justice, the slow pace of change, and the persistent inequalities despite her advocacy and activism. What does she see? Sees the challenges faced by the marginalized communities and recognize the importance of systemic change to address poverty. What does she hear? Sarah hears stories of resilience and empowerment for individuals overcoming poverty through access to education and economic opportunities. What does she say and do? Sarah speaks out against social injustice and advocates for policy reforms to address income inequality and promote social mobility. What does she think and feel? She thinks about ways to mobilize resources and empower communities to create positive change, feeling a sense of urgency and determination. What I have analyzed the insight, I have three. First is complexity of poverty. Second, interconnectedness of stakeholders and importance of holistic solution. For the complexity of poverty is the observation highlight the complexity of poverty, including the systemic, emotional, and financial difficulties that people like Susan, John, and Sarah must deal with. Second is interconnectedness of stakeholders. The needs, difficulties, and the problems that have been identified affect several parties that are affected by poverty, underscoring the connection between the experience and the requirement for teamwork in order to solve the problem. Last one is the importance of holistic solution. Solution to poverty must be comprehensive, taking into account the various needs and difficulties that affects the needs of businesses, communities, and individuals affected by the issues. So for the summary, the problem statement is this emphasize the need for solution that address the underlying reasons for marginalized communities' economic hardship rather than the just treating the symptoms. The problem is not just that there is poverty, it also that there are long-standing systemic impediments and structural injustice. The how might we question us, how might we remove the structural obstacles and deal with the underlying causes of poverty to give marginalized communities for fair opportunity to prosper both socially and economically. So the discussion and justification is, rather than concentrating just on material scarcity, the problem statement reframes poverty as a systemic issue and calls in attention to correcting underlying structural disparities. The accompanying question emphasized the significance of providing fair opportunity for marginalized community to escape this cycle of poverty and direct solution development towards systemic change.